All right, it is officially Monday. What the heck? There he goes. Oh, he's coming back. Okay, bye, praying mantis. Bye. What the heck are you doing out of here? No, go back. Go. Get out of here. Okay, well, it's Monday morning, and today I have finally spent the entire weekend studying this update from the release to basically now. Why? I don't know. That's a really good question. If you're one of the many players that might want to actually do this by yourself, this is 100% possible. How? It's easy. Now, everything is done by point system, obviously. I just did not memorize absolutely anything when it came to the amount that you need. But to speed up the process, there are a couple of steps that you guys need to do in order to just kind of like plant and chill around. Now, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the aerial view of my garden. Everything is going to be sectioned based on what I'm planting. Fruits are going to be with fruits. Leafies are going to be with leafies. Mix and match things will kind of be near each other. I actually created a chart right here so you guys can get an idea. As you can see, I have everything laid out where everything makes sense for me. This makes the whole process so much more faster should I want to go ahead and summon the beanstalk again. For those that might not want to organize, it's a really good idea so you know where everything is. Optional, but really recommended. And I didn't realize this until afterwards before I realized, oh, I wish my plants would grow faster. Well, there are pets that you can get to go ahead and speed up the harvest duration on how long it will take for a crop to grow. So we have growth speed boosters right over here. So it's going to be a cow, a frog, an echo frog, a caterpillar, and a triceratops. All of these guys right here, regardless of which one you kind of get, is really not going to matter too much, except for the leafy plants one, which is the caterpillar. I would say that the cooldown probably matters the most. You don't want to wait 10 minutes for the actual thing to go ahead and speed up a boost for the plant itself, if that makes sense. So for the cow, it says, causes all plants within 8 studs to grow 1.12 times faster, which is really nice. The frog says every 10 minutes, croaks in a random nearby plant will advance growth by 24 hours. Echo frog, every 5 minutes, croaks and causes a random nearby plant to advance by growth by 24 hours. Caterpillar, leaf lover passive, leafy plants grow 2.42% faster. Triceratops, trihorn, every 3 minutes and 33 seconds runs into 3 random plants and advances their growth by 33 minutes and has a 15% chance to do it again each time, which I mean is absolutely phenomenal. This is actually a really good one. Dairy cow, all plants within 10 studs will grow 1.3 times faster. When selling this pet, has a small chance to get a beanstalk seed. Now, obviously this is really important just because if you do not have the ability to get a beanstalk seed and you end up getting a ton of these little cows, you have a chance of getting the beanstalk from this. Another pet that you could pair this up with is a snail. And the only reason why I say this is if you have a one singular harvest seed, then this little guy has a chance of giving you that same seed. Alright, now that we have all of that out of the way, we already know during this update, mutations and sizes do not matter, at least from what I've experienced and done so far on my end. So if you do plan on playing this by yourself, again, it is 100% possible and it is completely optional. I do have mixed rarity when it comes to a lot of my plants here. I have a lilac, rose, foxgloves, moonflowers, serenities, a moon blossom, a flare daisy. There's a lot of things that I do have here. I would say the flower and the fruits right now currently are definitely one of the stronger suits that I have at the moment when it comes to harvesting and submitting. Right now, there is a woody submission, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And honestly, if you do have the ability to buy a lot of these harvest tools, these are a lifesaver. And I only say this because sometimes it is insane when you're trying to harvest specific things and you're trying not to harvest everything else because your inventory will fill up very quickly. Okay, so I need to get my moon blossom, my mango, my cacao, my nectarine. I forget that these plants are super duper small, so it's kind of hard to see sometimes. Okay, so it looks like I was able to get my mango and some of the moon blossoms out of this, so we're gonna go ahead and see how much we're able to submit right now. Okay, so I picked up all of this stuff right over here. Some things might be mixed and matched, but we're gonna go ahead and submit. All right, so I have 406 from the 73 fruits currently, so we're almost halfway there. So I have everything that that I picked out right now, and now I have to figure out how to make this stuff grow faster before I end up losing the chance to submit more woody things. And even if you don't decide to go ahead and play by yourself and you're playing with a ton of other people that you may or may not know, there is a system here. Whoever could get the highest points before the beanstalk spawns in, you end up getting a bonus. So of course we have to take advantage of everything here. I use the flamingo for this. This is also a pet that you can actually use to speed up the process for your crops as well. And on top of it, I do have a mimic here who is able to copy the abilities of absolutely anything on my garden. So every 20 minutes or so, it will copy something from one of the pets that I have here, which is why I leave the queen bee, because I want things pollinated because of the honey guy. So these little guys will go ahead and do their thing. Worst case scenario is if I end up getting really impatient, I'll just put down a basic sprinkler in the areas that I want to grow and pretty much progress a lot more faster. So unironically, I'm doing this mostly because I want a ton of crates and I want a ton of eggs, but mostly I've been getting a lot of these sprout seed packs. And if you're able to constantly refresh the shop, you should get a ton of these just by basically farming it, by being organized, by picking up the right pets, trying to strategically do your strategy here in order to take advantage of everything. Again, whether you play with people or not, this should just speed up the process so much more faster for you to farm at the very end of the day. What I love about this is we have 2 save slots. If I want to go ahead and reload my actual little plot for Grow Garden, then I'll just load in my original save slot. However, this one's a little bit disorganized right now, so bear with me while I try to attempt to find things. So we have my giant pine cone, a hive tree, cocoa. Okay, it's too crazy in there, so I can't figure out what the heck is what. I mean, obviously, I cannot navigate in my own farm. So let's go ahead and submit some of these things. I ended up getting some pine cones and some extra little things. So 96 points out of 15 fruits. So 502. So we're halfway now. We're definitely past halfway. And now we wait. But at some point, this will not be an unlimited thing. Now hear me out. This will only last however long you have shekels for. I have a ton of shekels that I'm comfortable spending up to a certain point until it refreshes again and goes back to 500,000. I'll go all the way up to 5 quadrillion, at least quadrillion. Also super duper important. Now, when you're doing this, whether again, if you're doing it with people or if you're doing it with friends, do not leave. Your points will reset back to 0 as if you did absolutely nothing. Don't leave. We're stuck here until it's basically done. Of course, unless Roblox kicks you out because of disconnection issues, but try your best to not leave the game, as tempting as it might be. If you have to do something, just don't leave the game unless you want to do this whole process all over again. I've left multiple times because a space button wouldn't work or the Roblox chat was broken, and then I left and I realized, why did my counter go down as if I did nothing? So now I paired everything up with my sprinklers and with my pets currently. So I have to go ahead and hurry up because now I'm getting impatient. It's been about 10 minutes or so obviously I know not everything is going to grow right away, but remember, these guys are assistants to you. They're here to help. From those, I ended up getting an additional 100 points, which is actually pretty good. So it's been, I don't know, 15 minutes or so total because I don't have that many woody plants. Woody is probably not my best suit. All right, so now that we're finally here, I don't think I'm going to be able to refresh this, but yeah, no, I went all the way up to 47. Oh my god. So this is where the important part plays in. You have 10 minutes to go ahead and just chill and figure out what you need to get from Goliath here. And should this reset? I believe this resets every day. Okay, yes. So this resets every single day. So this will be unlimited up to a certain point where you are not able to afford it anymore. But this is where I pretty much get all of my seed packs. And if I'm really, really lucky, sometimes the little egg. Though at the very beginning of the update, I felt like this egg was very, very common to get, just as common as the seed pack. And now since Sunday and Monday being out already, I feel like this might have been turned down just a tiny bit. So hopefully you guys ended up getting a few eggs out of this. But in reality, this is a phenomenal way to just get a ton of seed packs, a bunch of sprout crates. I don't have the egg with me because I bought all the eggs and I opened them, so pretend I have an egg in my hand, okay? Woo! I got an egg. This is a great way to go ahead and take advantage of what you have in here, so long as you have the ability of getting shekels. And of course, a farm that you're able to use. As basic as my farm looks right now, I don't really have that many plants here that I'm using for any of this, but for Woody, I am using mangoes. I inevitably decided to go ahead and use my coconuts. I'm using pine cones, my moon blossom, and that's pretty much it. This is 100% doable by yourself. Of course, unless there is a weak requirement that you're lacking of, which for me is Woody. I would say Woody for me, sometimes prickly, absolutely candy, and definitely prehistoric. But the nice thing is, I don't see these come up so often to a point where it's noticeable for me at least. Once the restock limit hits, where it's super duper expensive, I don't tend to worry about it until the very next day. But again, should you be missing absolutely anything during this cooldown period, this is a great way for you guys to go ahead and craft the missing seeds that you need and also fill in the missing spaces for your garden guide right over here. But that's something for later now, is it? Is actually basically it. Hopefully this entire guide helps you guys out better, speed up the process of your plants. This is what I've been doing the entire weekend, so hopefully you guys get ready to organize and pretty much lay everything out. And of course, ending up getting some pets that might help you out. And until then, I will see you guys all in the next video.
Okay, bye.